couple dies from COVID-19 holding hands. They say true love only exists in Nicholas Sparks novels and movies, and in some cases that might be true. But for Floyd and Violet Hartwig, every day was like a page out of The Notebook, minus all the unread letters and the breakup. Like the famous Nicholas Sparks couple, Noah and Allie, Floyd also sent Violet hundreds of love letters. But unlike Allie, Violet read all of hers almost as soon as she got them. This couple was literally gold, so much that you would not believe what happened to them. Do you want to know their stories? And much more like this? Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get updated when we post new valuable content. The couple met as children and stayed friends ever since elementary school. They grew up in the farming community of Easton, Central California. During World War II, Floyd signed up with the Navy. It was when Floyd returned as a decorated Navy soldier that the both of them fell for each other. At the local dance at the Rainbow Ballroom in Fresno, the two of them met again and sparks flew. Both of them fell in love with each other on that magical night, and that love continued on till the day they died. But soon after this newfound love, Floyd was called back to the Navy. He was sent back to the Pacific to participate in the war. Even during that time, Floyd's love for Violet never faded. He thought of her constantly. Even when he was miles away from her, he would write her letters. So much so that he would flood her mailbox with letters. The young lovebirds exchanged more than 100 letters from 1946 to 1948. He would write about how he was just a lonely blue sailor without Velvet, and how much he loved and missed her. It was during this time period that Floyd finally realised that he could not bear to be apart from Violet, that the Navy lifestyle wasn't for him. He was scared from the ongoing war, and he just wanted it all to end. All he wanted was to go back to his sweet Violet. So, during his break from the Navy, Violet and Floyd both said their vows and became husband and wife. When Floyd's military service ended, he came back home to his Violet. The both of them moved from Fresno to a farm in Easton, California. Here Floyd had his first job as an egg deliverer. In the meantime, Violet stayed home and helped take care of Floyd and the house. She would take care of the ranch, cook all the meals. When Floyd would get up for work, she would wake up with him and have breakfast ready at 4:30 in the morning every day. They had 3 children together, Donna, Carol and Kenneth. Donna, their daughter, talks about how they weren't a very fancy couple. Nothing they did was over the top. They were just 2 elderly, devoted people. They always stayed committed to each other no matter what. All Floyd and Violet ever wanted was a family. And they had a beautiful family that loved them and each other to the fullest. Violet did a lot of sewing, which was the reason she did all the children's clothes by herself. She later joined the PTA at school and discovered her love of crosswords. Whenever she had time, she could be found doing crossword puzzles. Every day when leaving for work, Floyd would kiss his wife goodbye. It was something the children were used to. In a world where marriages often resulted in a divorce, Floyd and Violet were a legend. They let their children grow up in a loving and fulfilling environment. Every day when Floyd would come back from work, he would sit down with his family and they would eat dinner while discussing their day. The two of them lived their lives in peace, happiness, and most importantly, in love with each other. They owned a 20-acre ranch in Easton where they worked side by side every day. And though there is no doubt their whole life was beautiful, their last moments were even more beautiful. After spending 67 years together, Floyd and Violet had a large family around them. From their 3 children, they had 4 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. Around the holidays, everyone would get together in their ranch at Easton. It would be a huge get-together for the whole family. It was at one of those get-togethers that the family noticed Violet had dementia. This was a piece of heartbreaking news for the whole family. The sweet and loving Violet would forget her children and her grandchildren at random times of the day. She would forget her age or the people around her. Through all of it, her husband Floyd stayed with her. Every step of the way, Floyd stayed with his wife. Even if sometimes his wife would forget him and everything around her. He would patiently take care of her forever. After 67 years of marriage, his love for her was the same. What happened next was tragically beautiful. Caring for his wife at his age wasn't very good for Floyd's health, and even when the kids spoke of shifting Violet to a hospice, he wouldn't stand for it and took care of her all by himself. But very soon Floyd's health started deteriorating. When the doctors ran checks, they found out Floyd had a kidney failure and that he had 2 weeks to live. This devastated the whole family. As their father wished to stay with his wife, they moved the couches from the living room in the ranch and moved 2 hospice beds side by side. Floyd was in a lot of pain, but he put on a brave face, but everyone could tell. The children put their father's hands in their mother's. It was in that way, holding the wife he loved for more than 67 years, that Floyd breathed his last. It was a devastating loss for the whole family and a huge blow to them all. But it was worse for Violet, who had loved Floyd so much. Violet couldn't bear parting with the love of her life, died just 5 hours later with her hand in Floyd's. The children found them in the morning in that position, linked together in death, just as they had been linked together in life. Whilst the story of Violet and Floyd ended in 2015, here's another couple who were something straight out of a romance novel. Dick and Shirley Meek were another movie-worthy love story. They were childhood friends who fell in love and started a family. Dick was an extremely social and jolly person. He loved helping others and made friends with everyone that he met. He was also a romantic at heart. He fell in love at first sight with Shirley. Shirley, who was more reserved than Dick, quietly shared her love for humanity by anonymously donating to charities every month. What they both shared, aside from their humanitarian spirit, was their love of adventure. The both of them tried a lot of thrilling things over the 70-year span of their marriage. From ziplining, skydiving, and other thrills, their bucket list was nothing short of amazing. The two enjoyed travelling and meeting all their friends they had made over the years. They had travelled the world together and lived the life of the fullest. They had settled down in Ohio and had 5 children. Dick became an accomplished carpenter and builder. He built Shirley a home in which they raised the family. He loved woodworking so much that he handcrafted many of the things his family and friends cherish to this day. Shirley was an excellent cook and homemaker. She worked for 25 years in the service of burger chef. She took many teenagers under her wing and taught them everything they need to know of the basics of cooking. Shirley was also an avid shopper who loved to dress up for every occasion. Her husband, who knew her passion for dressing up, gave her a reason to dress up every day at 3 p.m. Every day at precisely 3 p.m, no matter where they were in the world, Dick would take his wife out for a date and remind her how much he loved her throughout the years. Even after 70 years of marriage, they both still loved each other just as much as they always had. On December 22nd, 2020, the couple celebrated their 70th anniversary. It was then that they informed their children that they were feeling the effects of a cold coming on. Suddenly, in less than a week, things had gone from bad to worse, and everyone realised it was not a normal cold. Dick and Shirley had tested positive for COVID-19. Things started to rapidly deteriorate, and in the following week it was evident that they were not going to get better. The nurse who worked with both of them fought to have both of them placed in the same room. They had just gotten the approval for the couple to stay in the same room and had shifted them when Shirley's health completely failed her. Her husband held her in his arms with his head on her shoulder. It was in that way Shirley left this world. She went knowing she was loved in the arms of the man she loved for 7 decades. It was not even 5 minutes later that Dick followed his wife in death. This was another love that transcended everything. Have you ever seen a love story like this? If so, share in the comments and drop a like if you enjoyed these beautiful love stories. For more beautiful real-life stories, subscribe to our channel.